Mcintosh YouTube show here from Smash Park in West Des Moines. You hear the sounds of pickleball going back and forth, but I'm here with David Houston. He is the man involved with Homes for My Peeps. And David, first of all, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Before we get into Homes for My Peeps, tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where'd you go to high school, where'd you go to college, stuff like that.
All right, graduated, I was reared here in Des Moines, Iowa. Born in Minnesota, Minneapolis. Graduated from Roosevelt High School.
Okay.
Went to Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, on a track scholarship. Got my degree in architecture. Stayed there for graduated in 2002, and then came back in 2011.
Okay. One quick question. I often hear from people that athletics helped them in college because they were more focused, and they knew that if they wanted to compete or perform, they had to keep their grades up. Did you find yourself in that same boat?
Absolutely. The architecture department at the university was a challenge. You know, there's actually a funny story. My structural advisor told me that I had to pick one of the two, either it was track or architecture.
Really? Okay.
That's how demanding architecture was. That studio, that department doesn't close. It's open 24 hours a day. So people sleep in there while doing projects and whatnot. Me having to travel on the weekends and sometimes during the week was very difficult. So I ended up going back and forth with him over time and told him, you know, if I'm in a place of higher learning and he's my professor, he should be encouraging me.
Right.
So I ended up graduating and completing both of those. Yeah.
Okay, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
You said you graduated in 2002, moved back here in 2011. What were you doing between 2002 and 2011 when you came back to your home state?
I would say growing and building my experience, my portfolio. So I was at Partners in Architecture in Dallas for like 4 years. This is rewinding, so that's like my last job and going backwards.
Right.
Then in Texas, I was with, this is Dallas, Houston, I'm sorry. Houston was at Stanton Carter Associates and Mark Carter Architects.
How did you come up with Homes for My Peeps, and tell us about Homes for My Peeps?
Homes for My Peeps came from a long dream, like from since I was like 8, I believe. I wanted to design homes for my siblings, and then we were real Jehovah's Witness, and they built a lot of the Kingdom Halls, so that's actually where it got started. That inspired me to want to build things.
I just have to interrupt you quickly. My wife is Jehovah's Witness. I've seen a quick build. That is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. That is incredible. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's okay. But from that experience, I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to be a carpenter, a framer.
Okay.
Then I got to college. As I got older, I have a twin brother. We was, you know, shooting stuff, ideas back around, back and forth. He decided to be a carpenter. I decided to be an architect. And from there, I just found a school that, you know, had both of the disciplines that I was willing to learn and do.
What is Homes for My Peeps?
So Homes for My Peeps is it's a 501c3 exempt organization. It's a home building and remodeling organization. It's not your typical, you know, when we say home, we're meaning two things. So we're saying homes is 4 walls and a roof.
Okay.
You know, your home is more than 4 walls and a roof. And the other home we're saying is your temple. So we want to remodel your home, and we want to build your new home too. So Homes for My Peeps is that it's a home building and remodeling organization. Our mission is to provide green and sustainable housing solutions to blighted communities.
How's it going so far here in Des Moines?
It's going pretty good. I mean, we've had our ups and downs. You know, it's slow motion, but again, it's better than no motion. So we're as a grassroots organization, we're doing what we feel we need to do at the pace that we're going.
How does Homes for My Peeps work, and how do people get involved?
How does Homes for My Peeps work? Well, so we offer a lot of DIY workshops.
Okay.
Depending on the number of people that sign up for the workshops, then we'll host that workshop. We have a community garden. We provide, over the years, that's been a struggle because of vandalism. However, we do have other properties where we grow produce, and we do disperse that to certain individuals that we are affiliated with or associated with. We actually have a house on 8th Street that we're currently going through a remodel. It's you could say it's a historic renovation. Let's see, we also got a house located on 16th Street, and what we're trying to do is incorporate a lot of these DIY projects, like from custom rain barrels. You build your own rain barrels out of food grade barrels, gardens out of these rain barrels, and out of these barrels, and building rain barrels.
Right.
Yeah. So how do you get involved? You can volunteer. You can go to our website, www.homesformypeeps.org, and that's the number 4. You can give me a call. There's also there's a slew full of things that we offer. So if you just go to the website, which is getting ramped up now as we speak, you'll be able to see a lot of the things that we offer and how to get involved with the organization.
You mentioned Homes for My Peeps kind of focuses on blighted communities, blighted areas.
Yeah.
What's the response been from the people in the communities when they see you and the work you and your organization trying to do?
The response in the community is twofold. A lot of people don't know what we're doing, and the people that know myself, they absolutely support the organization. So we haven't really put anyone in a house. We did have our first home remodel on Cottage Grove, which is our first home that we also put solar in. So yeah, I would like to put the address out there, but I'm going to check with the owner first.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's got to be a good feeling for you to go from before to after. Take us through the steps and what it's like when you're called in to do something, you come up with a vision, and you're able to execute that vision over time until that vision is complete.
Wow, that in itself is. Let me see. Ask the question again so I can make sure I get it.
What is it like? I mean, it's got to be a good feeling when you're called in on a project, you do a project, and you come up with a vision to renovate or rehab or remodel that project, and then from where it started and the process it takes until it finishes. What's that like for you from start to finish?
Okay. That's powerful for myself because as a creator, visionary thinker, 3D, I see things. That's to me, that's my Harry Potter. That's my manifestation.
Okay.
So being able to see something in my mind or seeing something that I've just observed and being able to build something such as a hydroponic system. So years ago, I noticed this airlift system, they called it, that was fabricated, like in a commercial establishment, right? So what I did was I found things that I could use at my house to make the same thing that I just saw. So there was like a 3/4 inch PVC pipe, some fish tubing from an aquarium, 5-gallon water jug, and some V8 juice bottles, right? And compiled all this stuff together with some zip ties and then made a vertical farm out of it. And then now converted it into, so that was like at its beginning stages, at adolescent stage. Now I've converted them into hydro trunks. And what these are is just like PVC, 8-inch PVC converted into wood. It looks like wood, so these things, bringing them into person is like my inner child. Like I'm giddy because it's tangible, and as these things are working. Yeah.
How important? I know it's important for you to do a good job, but how important is it for word of mouth to spread what you're doing?
Oh, it's absolutely important. I think that's the number one way how things grow, through communication, and it shows who is communicating and who's not. So it lets me gets me back in the mode of back in those Jehovah's Witness days of going on those doors and knocking on people's doors on Saturdays or Sundays, whatever day that it may be, and just get the name out.
Is that what gave you the drive to for lack of better words, knock on doors to get the name out there? Is your background, your upbringing as a Jehovah's Witness?
I believe so. A lot of that growing up and running track, those were certain disciplines that kept us in line. We were growing up. We would have been considered the L7s, So but we staying close to family and having friends, developing those relationships, opened us up to a lot of experiences.
You mentioned you rebuild, remodel the homes, but also the person as well.
Absolutely.
How receptive are people to that, and what's that process?
For people I feel are kind of resistant to that because a lot of people don't like change. And a lot of people don't want you telling them what to do or how to do it. So that's kind of it is what it is. We try to do that by encouraging people to eat healthier, eat the alkaline foods, practicing yoga, focusing on their breath.
A lot of people like either one or the other, not from one company.
Right.
Why is it important for you to incorporate both?
I think it's incorporate because you have to have balance. And personally speaking, testifying, just my testimony, that I can honestly feel and see the change. And I not only can feel it and see it, like you can observe everything that I do. I know is from that. Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us this morning. Hey, if people want to get in touch with you, if they have questions after watching this, give us any website information, any social media information, any phone numbers you're willing to give out so people can reach out.
All right, so www.homesformypeeps.org. There's a Facebook page as well, Homes for My Peeps on Facebook. And then you can reach me at david@homesformypeeps.org or 515-867-0029.
There you have it. Every way possible to reach out to David Houston with Homes for My Peeps. David, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
This is the Marcus Mcintosh Show on YouTube from Smash Park in West Des Moines. We're back with more in just a minute. Welcome back to the Marcus Mcintosh Show on YouTube. We're here at Smash Park. You'll hear the pickleball sounds in the background, but I want to introduce my guests. First of all, to my immediate left, we have Chris Pearson, Sonic Factory Studios, and we have the Feel Right here with us. They're going to be performing right here at Smash Park on Friday, May 10th. We have Fred Gaddy, JB Williams, Mr. Larry Moore, and Joe. One name, just Joe. First of all, gentlemen, I'm throwing it out here, and I'll start with Chris. Tell us a little bit about yourself and Sonic Factory Studios.
Sure. Sonic Factory's been around for a little over a decade now, and I'm from Atlanta and spent most of my music history cutting my teeth there in multiple studios, working for several different record labels, and then also as a touring artist. So, studio's a full-time job now, and it's great. I used to spend 250 days on the road and just tour a different city every single day, different people every single day, and it's so nice just to be home and hanging out with my wife and kids and raising chickens and like doing normal, what probably every touring musician does, move out to a farm. And
So I have to ask, living in Atlanta, you rub shoulders with, the Jermaine Dupri's, people who Atlanta, kind of known for the Atlanta town, Ruby Chris's, other people?
Yeah. We ran in similar circles, and a lot of the studios that I frequented, we all sort of just saw each other on a daily basis.
All right. The Feel Right, Fred Gaddy. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your instruments, how you got started in music.
Well, the Feel Right is it's a collection of musicians and artists, and how we started was we saw a lack in the Des Moines area for like neo soul and R&B, and we kind of got together. Our first gig ever was at the Lift over on 4th Avenue in Des Moines, and from then on we just kind of kept gigging, kept playing together, and it's been a really fun time. I'm the keyboardist in the group. Play Rose, Hammond organ, piano, and I've been having a great time with it from the start until now.
JB Williams, tell us a little bit about yourself and the instruments you play.
Absolutely. I play guitar in the band, and I'm kind of one of the newer comers to the band. How long have I been playing with you guys now? What? Maybe a little over a year?
It's been about a year now.
So yeah, it's kind of a departure from the normal style of music that I play in the other bands that I play in around Des Moines. So it's been kind of really refreshing to get to play a slightly different role. And these guys are really fun to work with, of course. So yeah.
Mr. Larry Moore.
Yes, sir. I am a teaching artist, and performer in Des Moines. Outside of the Feel Right, I sing backup for Madison Ray and do poems for his sets, and I'm also a spoken word artist.
What instruments do you play?
I do not
Just
just the vocals.
Just the vocals.
Just the
That's
vocals.
an instrument.
Vocals and poems and improvisation when it's needed. No, yeah, I've been there since the first gig.
Yeah.
I just remember the first email or the first Facebook message, and it was just like, "Hey man, you want to come play all the music you love listening to?" I'm like, "Yeah, son, that sounds amazing." And it really is. There's a lack of neo soul, R&B, like there's jazz in Des Moines, but some of it lacks swing, if you will. And it just, I know Fred's amazing. I had never heard Mario Shireen Callister so sings with us every now and again, and it seemed like a perfect marriage of all the things. So yeah.
Joe, tell us a little bit about yourself and the instruments you play.
I play bass guitar. I am a fairly new addition, I guess you could say. And I don't know. I just really like that I got the opportunity to, play something that made you think and feel rather than just playing something that's always constant.
Chris, the music industry is the music industry, but are there differences in the way they do things or how they do things or how it's done in Atlanta as opposed to up here in Central Iowa, Des Moines area?
The climate's different. The music industry is the same everywhere, but it's just a matter of climate again. It's a different atmosphere, whereas you've got 6 million people in the Atlanta / surrounding areas, and you've got it's Atlanta, so probably 50%, people think that they're hip hop artists, and everybody's got a SoundCloud page and whatnot. So it's
releasing a CD on the internet.
Right. So that's one part of the industry are the people that are doing it for show, the people that are doing it for just something to do or whatever. But the industry is really small everywhere you go. The people that are actually really doing it, making a living for themselves, or not, but just making a serious go of it. And so it doesn't take long to get intertwined in that community when you're one of those people. Because for me, I do this like sound and music and production and songwriting and all that stuff that there's nothing cooler than that for me, except for like hanging out with my kids and my wife. Like that's pretty much the only thing that's cooler, and I just love it. I get to work every day. I don't show up at 11 o'clock or whenever I want to. I'm usually in the lab by 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm there until 5 or 6 or sometimes 7 or 8 until it's done. Just because I love it, not because I feel like it's a chore, but because I love it. And so when you're somebody that has a drive like that, in any facet, you connect with that small group really quickly, so you get to weed out a lot of that BS and get to business. So the atmosphere from Atlanta to Des Moines is not that different in terms of the way that people interact with each other. But it's a lot more of an honest atmosphere here, and I've met some of the best players that I use now for studio musicians that I've ever had in my entire life. And we're talking people coming in and out of Atlanta every single day. The last place I came from was a multi-million-dollar facility, and the amount of players that we had come through were incredible, and they were incredible. But there's this level of disconnect when you're in an atmosphere that big, as opposed to being in a place like Des Moines, where musicians are equally as talented, but still hungry and not entitled. And that's the biggest thing to being successful in the music industry, is staying hungry, staying grounded, and knowing when to say yes and when to say no. So that would be probably the biggest thing between the two cities, a bigger and a smaller city. This goes around for not just Des Moines / Atlanta. New York, very similar. Los Angeles, very similar. But all the same, the circle is still very small with the gifted people and the people that do this for a living and for a passion.
and I'm gonna ask all of you this question, but I'm imagining whenever I talk to other band members, they play in a number of bands, they played in a number of bands before they came together. What's it like, or what is it? How do you know when you click, or when you know that something's right? That you guys can, do your thing and have fun with it, as opposed to doing your thing and being upset. That's the case?
Yeah. It's one of those things where every time you're on stage, it gives you that feeling. Like these guys, I love listening to these guys play. If I didn't sing with them, I would go listen to them. The other bands that they do, I try to make it out to go listen to them. They're all amazing. And it's just when you're on stage and you find those moments, and everybody's like you're in the breakdown and everybody's doing their thing, and you can just feel it, man. It's an amazing feeling.
Just that higher plane.
Yeah, man.
It's one thing for like rehearsals, like chords, notes. Those are a given. But like, I think when you go to a show and you have like a certain camaraderie amongst each other, and then it kind of just exudes out when you're on stage, where you're not feeding off the audience, you're feeding off each other.
Exactly.
And I feel that with these guys a lot. Like I hang out with them, and friends, but also like when we're up on stage, you just kind of forget about everything else and just what's JB doing? What's he bringing right now?
It's about finding those people you can kind of feed off of to elevate the thing to like you said, to a higher plane. Taking it more than just the chords of the song and the structure, and having it become something more because of the way we're interacting with each other.
So rehearsal is just like, okay, you get all the music down and everybody knows what to do, but it's on stage where you really take that next step and realize that, hey, we really click and we vibe off each other.
And I think it's also a sense of comfortability. Like I know what when there are certain things I know Fred is going to do when he's about to go into a bridge. I'm comfortable. I can do my thing, and there's never. It's just the communication on stage and shared lack. Shared time, like the lack of needing to communicate. You just know.
It's like being in a marriage for a while.
Exactly. you know what's about to happen. I know he's only going to take this out for 8 more bars, and you can start to feel it, and in that way, your audiences get a very nice aesthetic as well. It's like, oh, these guys, they practice a lot. They really know what they do, but like we go to practice to get a sense of comfortability now, and that's all we need. You know what I mean?
We can just relax on stage.
Relax on stage.
And it's kind of a game too. Like when we're playing, we mess with each other. Try. It's a trust level too. You see how far you can push the other person, which makes it fun. Keeps it light.
What's it like when you're in a situation that you just know this is not the band for me? I'm not vibing with these guys. You just, they might not. I'm not saying they're bad people, but they just might not be on the same page, so to speak. Have you ever been in that situation before?
It feels like work.
Feels like work. I was gonna say.
It feels like work. It feels like I'm clocking in when it's you get like a song list or something and you have to learn it verbatim, and you get up on stage and the count measures and you're thinking about form and you're not really into like the feeling of the song, but more or less just reproducing the song. It just feels kind of like, it just feels like work.
So it's not fun, basically.
No, it's not. No.
Anyone else? Same thing?
Took the words right out of my mouth, pretty much. It's about it.
It's that uneasy feeling when you go on a first date with somebody and you know it's not right, but you still keep going on dates with them. And
or
just
maybe
to say,
you think it's right and she doesn't.
Exactly.
I've been there before too.
Absolutely. And it just it makes it so you can't get free and express the way that you would like to. I don't know.
It really is like another plane. I mean, like I said before, it really is another plane that when you're in a band with people that you connect with, you don't have to say stuff to each other. Just musically, you just understand each other. And when Joe goes boom, boom, like, I know that's a transition into a chorus, or I know that's a transition into a bridge, and you're gonna hear that, and you're gonna hear that, and you're gonna hear that, and you might run off that, and he's done that a million times in different ways in a bunch of different places. But as musicians, we all have like our little go-to, you know, like I can play guitar and I can sing, but I can't play everything on guitar. So I'm gonna do what I can really well, and I'm gonna do that as many times as I can, and then try to change it up a little bit so it doesn't seem like I'm just doing the same thing over and over again. But that's where the genius lies. That's where the genius lies in being a band too, is like knowing when to play and knowing when not to play, and understanding your role in a band. And a lot of times when you get into bands with guys that don't get that, that also makes it really hard. Even they could be your best friends, but then all of a sudden they pick up a guitar or start playing drums, and you're just like, I don't know.
Well, it's
just weird. It feels weird.
It's definitely a give and take. It's definitely a give and take. All the musicians, all the musicians in the field are talented, and it's at certain points in certain songs, it's like we'll showcase JB's talent, you know, a solo section or something, and it's you might have a lot of chops or whatever, but you got to bring back, you know, so you know to highlight and let him shine. You know, this is his expression, this is his interpretation of the feeling of the song. Support it, you know.
Everyone at this table seems genuinely excited about the music industry and what's going on musically here in Des Moines, Central Iowa area. What excites you all about this?
I think people love music here, man. People are supportive. People come out for it, and that's something I love about it. That the support is so genuine.
And just the opportunity that's inherent in a not fully established music scene. You know, there's a lot of holes to fill, a lot of spaces that can be filled in the music scene right now in terms of genre wise, and there's a lot of room for a lot of music to come out of Des Moines right now. So that's pretty exciting.
So it's not an area known for just one, like, you know, country or jazz. It's all that's incorporated here.
Yeah, I mean, if you could say that. I mean, there's a lot going on, but there's not a lot going on.
In terms of what does that mean?
So, I mean, like we all know, most of the people in
the music scene,
you know, it's not big. It's
pretty
it's
tight-knit,
almost incestuous. Like everybody's playing with everybody else, and I just like that people can come together and really try to get everybody off the ground, you know, at the same time. Blow up the scene, blow up the city, make it something cool.
So there's room for growth here.
Exactly.
There's still a hunger, and there's a lack of entitlement, which is what makes the scene thrive. And when there's no hunger left, and when everybody thinks that they should just have it given to them, that's when the scene dies. I saw it happen in Atlanta, I saw it happen in Los Angeles, I saw it happen in Austin, Texas. Everybody thinks that they should get signed, everybody thinks that because they made $500 at the last gig, that they shouldn't have to work as hard for this gig because they should just be making $500 because they're that good. No, dude, you gotta work. Just like any job on the planet, you gotta work, you gotta keep working. And when you accomplish something, you keep working. Yeah. So you accomplish something else. And you keep working, so you accomplish something else. You don't go, well, I'm awesome now. I don't
I'm gonna ride out that forever.
Yeah. So I really do think that that's helping the music scene here in Des Moines grow, is still that hunger and lack of entitlement.
How does the Feel Right keep that hunger going with the success you've had? Difficult, easy, or just the love of the industry, the love of what you're doing?
Just the love of the music, man. I don't think it's hard. Every now and again, because we're all so busy, we have trouble practicing. But again, all it takes for us is a practice, maybe a practice and a pre-gig, and we'll have 3 new songs. It doesn't take much. And then you add in the chemistry, and we smooth over the rough edges really quickly. It melds really, really well. So for us, it's easy to stay hungry. 'Cause we love what we do. We love doing this thing. We've had some slow times. We're like, well, is this what we want to do? And everybody's like, yeah, we'll just wait it out, just hang out.
Anybody want to add anything to that?
We have goals. We have goals. that we set for ourselves. Like we want to get out of the Des Moines area. We want to be more regional. You know, we want to do original material. We want to do more original material. You know, and I think it's pushing towards those goals that kind of keep it from being monotonous. Like I play at this bar every month, or I play this gig. I played this gig a number of times. I'm gonna play it again, and it's like we still do that. And we still take the same. We still take the same like
Payout, attitude.
Attitude. We still take the same attitude towards them, but we're also thinking further ahead too at the same time. You know, expanding our art, making it more experimental, challenging ourselves with the music and all that. Like, I think that also helps.
I think as a true artist too, and like a painter, it's like Picasso would paint one thing and be like, all right, whatever, I'm done with that. And then he'd start something totally different, because as an artist, you can't just keep doing the same thing over and over again, because you just get bored. Really. I mean, probably most of us at this table have issues with attention deficit disorder, and other, maybe some mental health issues, but like all of that stuff formulates the genius that is the songwriting process and the musical process and the connection, as a band too.
So Chris, someone calls Sonic Factory Studios. What services rather you offer?
I am one who, we offer a lot of different services. Me particularly, I'm one that really likes to focus for a lengthy period of time on a record or a song, and usually what I get involved in is a group of songs or an album. I do have a few people that will just come in, will cut singles, and right now, as far as the music industry, it's kind of like where things are at. It's just in a singles market. So for me personally, again, like I'll take a client in, we'll talk, figure out what their goals are, and if I want to work with them, then I'll sign on to the project. We'll figure out a great budget that works for them, that works for us in the studio, and we go until it's done.
I apologize. So you're an engineer?
Yeah, I'm a producer and an engineer.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I do everything. Whereas a lot of times, a producer will have their own engineer, and then they'll send off to someone else to get it mixed. I do have my own mastering engineer, which is like the final guy and the icing on the cake guy. But I do all of it: produce, engineer, mix the whole record, and then it goes out. So it takes some time to do that properly. But we also have 2 other engineers at the studio that if you're a new artist on the scene, if you just are trying to get in and have a little bit of time to experiment with a song, we'll put you in with them, and you'll come in for an hour or 2 and maybe lay some vocals down. Or we even deal with simple things that every studio deals with: tape transfers from old tapes that you used to have back. Somebody recorded their brother singing something at their mother's funeral, and they always had this tape, and they just want to dump it down, and so we'll pull it in, clean it up, and get it all sounding nice. That's the normal stuff that we do. But for me, it's just the love of music.
Do you have Facebook, website, if people want information?
All of the above. SonicFactoryStudios.com, and you can find us on Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff.
All right, the Feel Right playing here at Smash Park on Friday. Next on Friday. If people want to reach out to you guys, if they're interested in hearing more about what you do, where you're performing, how do they do that?
You can reach us. We have a booking email called feelrightbooking@gmail.com, and we also have a Facebook page, Feel Right Facebook page, videos of our performances. You can message the band directly, and that's where we keep our schedule of upcoming events.
All right, the Feel Right playing Friday right here at Smash Park. We have Fred Gaddy, J.B. Williams, Mr. Larry Moore, and Joe from the Feel Right, and from Sonic Factory Studios, we have Chris Pearson. Thank you all for coming in. After the break, we're going to hear the Feel Right play. I'm Marcus Mcintosh. This is the Marcus Mcintosh YouTube show coming to you from Smash Mouth.
Peace, peace, peace. Mr. Larry Moore. This is the Feel Right. JB Williams on guitar, Craig Gaddy on the keys. We will be doing a cover of Crazy by Gnarls Barkley. I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions had an echo in so much space. But when you're out there, try to care, yeah, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know enough. I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me think twice. Yeah, yeah, that's my only advice. Ooh, yeah. Da, da. Possibly.